Out there. This is Dr. Dave of the Shrink Wrap Radio Psychology Podcast coming to you once again. This time to talk about my latest interview, which is Shrink Wrap Radio number 483, An Insider's View of Psychosis with Shannon Love. And Shannon Love has is an author now who's written a book about her three different psychotic episodes, the most recent one within the past year. So very courageous of her, I think, to step forward and to transmute her experience into a book that others could benefit from. And so the title of it is Twisting My Kaleidoscope by Shannon Love. And you can see it's not a pamphlet, that's for sure. Nice size pages with illustrations. And it's written in a very creative fashion. Shannon shares that she has a love of metaphor and that actually metaphor played a significant role in her psychosis. One of the most remarkable things about her story is she was in China, in Beijing. Her husband works for a large multinational company, and they had him stationed in Beijing, and she loved it there. She and their, I think, three children, three children, had settled in very nicely there, and she had a nice life going, she felt. But she did have some problems weighing on her mind that I think helped to precipitate her psychotic break. And probably the most significant one was the health of her heart, where the company that her husband worked for, which also could, provided their medical insurance and medical care, uh, she had problems with her heart. And so they insisted that she get regular heart monitoring. And it was clear that there were difficulties there in terms of her heartbeat, and that in fact her family, she comes from a family in which a number of people had died of cardiac arrest, and so heart disease was a strong hereditary factor. So this, along with some other things, were weighing heavily on her while she was there. And her initial hospitalization actually was in Beijing. Then subsequently, she had two other hospitalizations here in the US. And actually, her best experience, somewhat to my surprise, was in Beijing. She really felt cared for and treated well and understood there in Beijing. And it didn't reflect the prejudices that I might have come to that, of thinking about that. But she said maybe part of the reason for that was that because she was a foreigner, she was treated sort of like a rock star, as somebody special. She was the only foreigner in the, I guess, locked psychiatric ward there. And her therapist in China actually was an American who was, I guess, doing some kind of an internship there or something like that. So it's a fascinating story. I think she was courageous to put it in print like that. And I think that it can give hope to those who are recovering from psychosis, to show that recovery is possible, and it helps therapists and would-be therapists to have a window into what that experience is like. We had an excellent interview, I thought, and so I think that you should listen, and I think you'll be glad that you did. So once again, it's Shrink Wrap Radio number 483, An Insider's Experience of Psychosis. Okay, the ball is back in your court now.